Good morning, everyone. Thank you. How's everyone doing this morning?
I'm doing great, and yourself?
I'm great.
Good morning or good afternoon.
Afternoon, yep. We'll get started in about 2 minutes here. Wait for some more people to join the call. I do want to let everyone know that we are live on Facebook.
Okay.
Are you there, Sharetha?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Sharetha, how are you there?
Hi, I can't see anybody.
I'm sorry, I'm going to get on video in 1 second. We're just waiting for another minute so more people can join the call. We are live on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay, so it is almost 5 after, so we will get started. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cornell Darden Jr., President and CEO of the Southland Black Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We are a regional chamber headquartered in Joliet, but we cover the regions of South Chicago, South Cook County, Kankakee, Will, and Grundy County. We are glad to bring an awesome discussion today with Ms. Sharetha Jackson and the Honorable State Representative Debbie Meyers-Martin concerning discrimination in the beauty supply industry. So we will start with introductions. So let's get started with Eric.
Hi, everybody. My name is Erica. I am the Vice President of the Southland Black Chamber of Commerce. I am just excited to get this discussion going. It's something that we've talked about at length in the past, and I'm glad that we're finally able to put it on forum so people can become aware of the issues that we're seeing.
Awesome. Thank you, Erica. Next, we have Dana.
Oh, I didn't know I had to speak. I'm Dana, guys. I'm just observing. I'm not in the beauty industry, but I'm a consumer of the beauty industry, and I met Sharetha, her beauty, telling me about, you know, the way she's being blackballed and, you know, as far as getting her inventory and, you know, things that she needs to, you know, supply her community. And I was appalled. I had heard about it, but, to hear it firsthand, I was, and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner. I'm a restaurateur, but I love the beauty industry as well. So I'm really interested to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions, and hopefully some type of maybe next move. What do we do as consumers? What can we do as business owners? What can we do to get a piece of this $1 billion pie?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining. Next, we have LaShawn James.
Good morning. Thank you so much. My name is LaShawn James. I'm the Regional Vice President with Addis Home Care. And this topic of discussion is dear to me because I know I probably spent billions of dollars in the beauty industry, supporting with lashes and makeup and all of that other stuff. So I'm eager to hear what I need to do to support my sisters and brothers in that industry. So thank you so much.
Welcome, LaShawn. Next, we have Devin Jones.
Hi, I'm the 18th Ward Republican committee person on the southwest side of Chicago. I've often heard about discrimination in the beauty industry when it comes to African Americans. So I want to second and third everybody's sentiments so far, that I just want to see what we can do, what next steps, what policies need to be created if we need to take it there, whose doors we need to knock on. So I'm just interested in hearing what everybody has to say, and what you all tasked me with to go out and be a partner and be a solidarity so that we can move past this.
Awesome. Welcome to the call, Devin. Next, we have Vanessa Popis.
Hello, everyone. I'm just wanting to know more information and how I can support individuals that are experiencing this. I'm really outdone about this. So I'm just looking to hear more information. I heard about this happening in Matteson and by a friend of mine, and for 2 months. So for 2 months, I have not been to the beauty supply store, but I wanted to know more information. So I'm glad that this conversation is happening.
Welcome, Vanessa. Next, we have Carla Burris.
Hi, I'm Carla Burris. I'm the district office manager for Senator Napoleon Harris. We have the 15th district, and we go all the way from the 9th ward in Chicago down to Creek Moniz. So we have a long district, and it does include the south suburbs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Awesome. Welcome, Carla. Next, we have Rochelle Haney.
Hello, my name is Rochelle Haney. I am the CMO of the CF Legacy Investment. I was informed on this call with Jennifer Clay, and we're looking to invest in a beauty supply in this industry.
Awesome. Well, you're in the right place. Sharetha is a phenomenal resource when helping to start new Black-owned beauty supply stores.
All right, thank you.
So welcome. Next, we have iPhone. It just says iPhone.
Maybe that's me. I do have an iPhone.
Yep, that's you.
Hello, this is Valerie Clay. I'm the CFO for CF Legacy Investment Company. And again, I was also informed by Jennifer Clay of this meeting, and just here to see, what we can do in our partnership to make this better. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Glad to have you. Next, we have Berneva McCullum. You may have to unmute, Berneva. Erica, can you unmute Berneva?
I am trying to, but it's not. Oh, hold on. It's not letting me.
All right,
I
there you go,
did
Berneva.
it. Yeah, thanks so much. Just happy to be on the call today. And and so proud of Sharetha and what she's doing with Kiss Black Beauty Supply. I know my daughter tried years, over 20 years ago we got her business plan, took it into small business, and it was just hard at that point for us to break through. And I know a number of other individuals who have tried to break into this industry, and it's very difficult for African Americans. So I am so happy for this to be a subject today. Thank you.
Thank you, Beneva. Next, we have Jennifer Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jennifer Clay Wilson that Rochelle Haney and Valerie Clay spoke of. I am actually, I encountered Sharetha during this COVID period. I just fell upon her by accident. She's such a wonderful young lady and very delightful. I'm excited because I was in need of some things, and I am a part of the CF Legacy investment group as well. And so we were looking for ideas, and actually we had been talking a little bit. And so when I knew that Sharetha was a part of this, I said, oh my God, I made a call out to her, and then I invited everybody. As you can see, we have our CFO on as well as our marketer from CF Legacy Investment Group. So we're really excited and interested in knowing and finding out and learning how we as a people can strengthen ourselves. I also work within the community in which Sharetha's Kids Beauty Supply is located, and I understand the plight that she had to go through, during her time of building and getting things ready. So I'm also a part of Victory Center Supportive Living, where we help to assist seniors with housing. So I'm excited and delighted. I'm shutting up.
Well, thanks so much for joining the call. We're glad to have you and your colleagues. Next, we have Kiera.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the owner of Sweet Keys Curations and also membership coordinator of Southland Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm just excited that we're having this conversation today and looking forward and wondering what I need to do as a customer to help support the Black beauty supplies in the community.
Awesome. Welcome, Kiera. And next we have Jamie Clay.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamie Clay. I am actually with Jennifer and Valerie. We're a family that's come together to invest in our community, and this opportunity came across to us, and so right now we're exploring to see how we can engage.
Awesome. Welcome, sir. Next we have Sharetha Jackson.
Hello, everybody. Actually, my name is Sharetha Jackson Thomas. I am the owner of Black Kiss Beauty Supply, Inc. in Matteson, Illinois. And I am just so happy that everybody joined in this conversation, because this is a conversation that needed to be had for many, many years. And we're just going to, give everyone my story, and basically me having to dissect the whole beauty supply industry and see what we can do to make it better, so that would-be beauty supply owners would come in, because you know what? This is not a competition amongst us. It's enough for everybody to eat. And I just feel like, this is a huge opportunity so that we don't have to be shut down and shut out of, a $9 billion industry that we make up 96% of the whole entire beauty industry when it comes to beauty supplies for urban women. So thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Sharetha. And last but not least, the Honorable State Representative, Debbie Meyers-Martin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Darden. I am so happy to be here. I am state representative from the 38th district, And so just for people on the call so that you know where my district is, I represent either all or parts of Country Club Hills, Matteson, Richton Park, Oak Forest, Markham, Harvey, Homewood, Flossmoor, Tinley Park, Frankfurt, Park Forest, Hazel Crest, Olympia Fields, and Mokina. And so I met Miss Jackson Thomas at the grand opening of the Black Kiss in Matteson. And I was very excited to have a new business opening in Matteson, and especially a minority business, a Black-owned business. And I was very disturbed to find out her story of the challenges and the discrimination that she has faced in the beauty supply industry. And so I thought it was important to have this call, and that's why I wanted to participate along with the South Suburban Black Chamber of Commerce. But more so, I wanted to listen to the stories, because if this is something that can be addressed legislatively, I certainly am willing, open, receptive to introducing legislation to begin to peel back the layers and expose that this discrimination exists, and then begin that road of addressing it. So again, thank you for inviting me to be on the call, and I look forward to hearing all of the information that will be shared today, and finding out, as everyone else has said, what we can do to address it. So thank you very much.
And thank you so much, State Rep Meyers-Martin, for joining us. We appreciate all the work that you and the Black Caucus do for Black people and Black businesses in Springfield. You guys are totally amazing. So we will get started with Sharetha Jackson Thomas, who can share with us an introduction to her and her foray into the beauty supply industry.
Okay, so basically, I was an everyday consumer for beauty supplies because by profession, I am a hairstylist. I have been a hairstylist 30 years this year. So every day I would go into this one particular store in Matteson, Jenny's to be exact. And every time I would go in the store, I just didn't like the feeling of being talked to any kind of way, or, you know, I felt like, you know, followed, you know, just they were really aggressive. And so one day, the lady that was behind the counter, you know, she was kind of talking smart. And I said, you know what, I'm going to open my own beauty supply store. And she was like, yay. And they started laughing at me. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? They don't even know who I am. So I went back to work, and for 3 days, I looked over at the old Kiss beauty supply store, which was vacant in the plaza where the salon is. So on the 4th day, I called the landlord and I asked, could I get in there or whatever? And he, you know, sent his people to let me in. And at that moment, I was like, I'll take it, you know, and trying to get inventory. When I got into the store, there was a file cabinet that was left with a wealth of information, any and every contact in the beauty supply industry. I had it. It like literally fell in my lap. So in, you know, getting ready to open the store, I called, I researched, I did everything that I needed to do. So I was literally about to open have my grand opening on a Saturday. It was November 30th. That Tuesday, I'm sitting in the store. It was completely empty. And I got 3 phone calls back to back to back within 5 minutes apart. Hi, Miss Thomas, this is such and such. I was just calling you because, you know, it came to our attention that, you know, we can't do business with you. And I'm like, why not? Now, every last one of them had the same script. We can't do business with you. Why not? Because we have accounts with Jenny's and we have an account with Beauty Trends. And if we do business with you, they'll close their accounts. And those are several hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And we can't jeopardize that for your minimum order. So I was like, that doesn't even sound legal, you know? So nevertheless, what happened to me was, well, I'll just give you an example. When opening a beauty supply store, you should have access to all of the other things that other beauty supplies have. A lot of suppliers will supply your store from front to back with net 30s, net 60s, net 90 accounts. In my case, they didn't give me any of that. So what I had to do was put my hands on as much cash money as I could to go buy some kind of inventory for the store. Since then, you know, we have different suppliers that come in, but it's still the same way. The only way that I can get product in my store from the vendors that the other beauty supplies has is they won't give me the net 30s, the 60s, and the 90s. They'll let you buy, but it's like you have to pay cash up front. Doesn't sound legal, but it's okay, you know, because I felt like I had all the credentials that the other stores have. And another thing is how it works is this store, my store, used to be owned by Jenny's. So what happens is these beauty supplies, the Korean beauty supplies, and even the Arabic beauty supplies, they'll have one big store. But then they'll shell out 2 or 3 different stores, like as sister stores. They're under the same umbrella. And so what happens is if they put stores in the neighborhood, people like us of color, women of color, men of color, we can't go and get a store. They make it hard for us because they have the market cornered. So in my case, the same distributors that won't sell to me because Jenny's and Beauty Trends exist used to sell to this very store, and I have all the proof in the world because I have all of the receipt books, all the files of every single distributor that serviced this store, but they only serviced this store because it was owned by another Korean store, which was under the same umbrella, if that makes sense. So, you know, we've come a long way from when we first opened. I had to really research and find other ways to get what I needed. And, you know, just by the grace of God, because it was all him, that I was able to, you know, get the stuff that I needed. But, you know, in my case also, it's still a work in progress because, you know, my store is self-funded. Like I didn't have the luxury of, you know, getting, even when the pandemic came, I didn't have the luxury of getting the grant money or the SBA loan or anything. Everything that I purchased in this store is cash and carry. And in hindsight, like in the beginning, I was so angry. I felt discriminated against, you know, but, you know, I mean, it's good now only because I feel like my store is debt free. But it is quite frustrating, you know, trying to break through because here's the thing. You think of, you know, these people come over here and they make all of this money off black women the most. But as soon as we try to get our foot in the door, they'll block on every end because they don't want to see us make $1. They do not buy from us. I don't care what it is. You know, they talk aggressively to us. They follow us. They have products on their shelves that's been sitting there for years. And when something goes wrong, they threaten you. They bar you from their stores. And that's just not right. That money belongs to us too. And I really wish, and I know now why there are not many Black-owned beauty supply stores, because they really make it impossible.
Thanks so much for sharing, Sharetha. That is a very, very interesting perspective. And it's such a shame in 2020, going into 21, in the third decade of the 21st century, that we as Black people have to deal with stuff like this. I just want to share a brief history of what I know of the beauty supply industry, starting with people like Madam C.J. Walker and Miss Annie Malone. Back then, at the turn of the 20th century, the early 1900s, we didn't have a Black beauty supply industry. No beauty supply stores or your typical beauty supply vendors carry products that could take care of Black hair. So innovators like Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker and a lot of other ones who didn't reach their fame created their own products in their kitchens, in their homes, and they created a network in which to distribute Black beauty supplies. Even in Robbins, Illinois, S.B. Fuller, who at one point was the richest Black man in the country, actually made a ton of money selling Black beauty products. Right on Kedzie and 135th Street, you can still see the Fuller Mansion right there. So the Black beauty supply industry was developed out of a need because we faced discrimination from people who didn't want to sell or carry our products. Sometime during the 70s, the Annie Malone empire, the Madam C.J. Walker empire, the Fuller empire, the Johnson empire, and a lot of other ones fell by the wayside. We didn't have generations of their family to take it over. A lot of them sold their businesses, and Koreans and Asians moved into the industry. Since the 70s and early 80s, they pretty much monopolized the industry from the top down, all the way from the producers of certain products that our Black people look for, and also to the warehousing of those products to be sold to the general stores and also to the general stores themselves. So we're looking at an industry that's very difficult for us to break into. And it's something that we really need to address because we shouldn't face discrimination for an industry that's built on Black people. So I got a question for you, Sharetha. I know we've talked before about the certain brands that are sold at beauty supply stores, and we're talking large companies. I know you mentioned L'Oreal before. What other large brands can you think of, corporate brands?
Salshin Carson, Luster's, ORS, Mazzani, Caracare, Design Essentials, Got to Be Glue. I forget their company name, but it's a French name, I think it is. I'm just looking around my store. God, it's so many of them. You can't hardly name them all. Shine and Jam, Ampro, Eco Company. God, it's too many of them.
And what I'm getting at there, in times like this, we need to, as a chamber, reach out to those large corporations and make relationships with them directly. So
well,
that
you
we
know
can...
what, Cornell, I'll stop you right there. When I was researching after I got blackballed initially, I started going to the back of the bottling of, these companies to only find out that a lot of them were sold to bigger companies and they will not sell to beauty supplies. They won't sell directly to the beauty supplies, the beauty supply stores. They sell them to the distributors. Now, distributors are places like the beauty supply warehouses where you can go, beauty supply owners can go. They pay a yearly membership, or some of them are free to get in. You just have to have all of your credentials. But a lot of those companies will not sell to you directly. The only company that I really had a great experience with that sold to me directly was My L Organics, and also the Luster, Stephen Luster's company, Naked by Essation.
I gotcha. And what I was leading to was, I know you discussed starting a warehouse, a Black-owned warehouse.
Yes,
And that,
absolutely.
and that would definitely be a strategy to contact those corporations directly. Corporations in the private sector are usually a lot more sensitive to racial issues. So I believe the chamber could reach out to those corporations and facilitate getting a whole house distribution center set up that can service our needs. So that's something
that
we
is
can
definitely on the radar.
Yes, ma'am. So for anybody listening on Facebook, we are the Southland Black Chamber of Commerce, and we're speaking with Ms. Sharetha Thomas and also the Honorable State Rep Debbie Meyers-Martin about discrimination in the beauty supply industry. Does anyone on the Zoom call have a question for either State Rep Meyers-Martin or Sharetha Thomas?
I actually have a question. Since there isn't like a Black-owned warehouse, if you will, a distributor, in the meantime, can Black beauty supply stores kind of pool their resources and I guess kind of operate like the Korean beauty supply stores that you mentioned, or the Arab-owned beauty supply stores, where I know you all are in competition with each other, but is there a way to pool resources so that there's a bigger pot of money to kind of remedy some of that discrimination? Or is that something you've talked about?
Well, really, for us, there are not many resources, unfortunately. Now, I think that as far as having a, Black-owned distribution center for beauty supplies, I don't believe there is one. Well, there is one that's he's based out of Miami, but he's a wholesaler for hair. And he was really a godsend to me, because other than this particular young man, there was nobody, to come to my rescue or to help me figure it out. But what you're saying is true and correct. I wish there was a way, but as far as I know, there are only 8 or 9 Black-owned beauty supplies in the state of Illinois, period. So we don't have the resources, unfortunately, that the Korean stores or the Arabic stores have, because, they're able to operate, strictly on the net 30s, the net 60s. Or I'll give you guys an example. Like, I wanted to carry the brand Model Hair in my company, and basically it's a popular hair weave and braiding hair or whatever. Now, this is the kind of foolishness that happens. They are very aware of who I am. I try not to hide from anybody. I'm very visible in my store every single day. But I called over there to find out, what did I need to do to open an account? Now, this is what it is. A lot of these companies that don't want us in business anyway will say something like, okay, we'll let you carry our hair, but it's going to cost you $15,000, $20,000 minimum order, to carry their hair. But, the other stores aren't getting that at those high prices. Now, if you say your minimum order needs to be $5,000, that's fair. But they'll put the number way up there because they figure that our money isn't long enough to begin with. So that's why, like, when you come into a Black-owned beauty supply store, a lot of the public don't know, because no one really understands pricing points. If you go into a Korean-owned beauty supply store, everything in there is pretty cheap, but it's only because they have a spectacular buying power, meaning they can order 10,000, 15,000 of each item and get it for pennies on the dollar, when we can't, because our buying power isn't that large.
I have a question, Sharetha. So I heard you say that you contacted the major corporations that have product. Are they aware that the distributors that they trust to distribute their product are, basically, I guess, choosing who gets what and how? Like, are they aware that,
they're very aware
that the distributors are discriminating?
I'm sure that they're very aware. I know in my case, I tell everybody everywhere I go the struggles and the heartache and frustration that I went through. But the bottom line is, if it does not affect their bottom line, it falls on deaf ears.
Well, what can we do to make it affect their bottom line? You know, I'm all about. I try to support Black businesses as much as possible. Right now, I've only been using like Mael Organics. I love their products.
Right.
What can we do to make that noise, to let these bigger corporations know, look, the folk that you're marketing to, the people that support you, that put money in your pocket, the people that are your bottom line, we're being discriminated against when we want to sell your product, we want to share your product, we want to open up stores in our own communities. Like what kind of noise could we make?
I mean, you can just stop buying their product. That's the only way that it'll
Absolutely.
get through to them. Like if we don't buy their product, but here's the thing, right now it's good to be Black in America because, everybody, has, realized we need to start buying in our own communities and we need to support our own this or our own that. But the thing is that unless people really mean what they say and stop buying from these people that won't do anything about the discrimination when we are trying to open up our own stores, like nothing's ever going to happen. The few will stop shopping, but there's millions and millions of people out there that still will. So unless it's unified, it doesn't work. You just have to keep fighting your way through. And another thing is if you have the support of your community. Now, listen, I'm not saying I want to run Jenny's or Beauty Trends out of business. No, I mean, it's enough for everybody. But the thing is, let us have some of what belongs to us in the first place. So you thinking if these stores are doing $70,000, $80,000 a month, that's on the low end. That's on a bad month. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not foolish enough to believe that I can drive them out of business. But what I do know is if I only get 26% of their traffic, that puts me in a different tax bracket. But at the same token, I'm the same person and the same businesses who I give back continuously to my community. I have a salon. I open my salon for the homeless. I open my salon for people who can't afford to get their hair done or for young girls who have never had a beauty salon experience. This is not once a year. This is not twice a year. This is all year long. And so here's the thing, too. We go over here and we spend all our money with them. They won't let you slide with a quarter. They'll wait on you to go to your car and get a quarter and bring it back. They don't give anything back to the community, but we love them so much, only because their prices might be a few cents cheaper. But again, if we start to understand pricing points, the public will see why we can't charge what they charge, because we don't have the same buying power. That's just how it is.
I wanted to say, Sharetha, that you answered the question that so many, or it's one of the concerns that a lot of just people in our community have. They always say it costs so much more to buy at a Black-owned store, and exactly what you said is the reason why, is because you can't buy in volume because you don't have the resources. You're one store where they might have 5, 10, 15 stores, etc.
Yep.
So thank you for really explaining that. I had a question for Representative Meyers-Martin. Based on everything that's said, do you know that if there is any state legislation that's already enacted that can remedy this situation, or is it potentially a federal issue because people might be crossing state lines to buy from distributors? Are you able to speak on that, just for my edification?
Okay, well, thank you for the question. I'm not aware of any legislation that exists that would address this type of situation specifically, but I have had a conversation with Mr. Darden about what would be some first steps for legislation to begin to, peel back the layers of this, just incredibly frustrating situation. And so we talked about something like a disparity study. And so the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus is already in the process of reviewing and evaluating and creating legislation to address systematic racism here in Illinois. And so I have already broached that subject as part of our caucus to begin to look at ways that we can create legislation, or at least, at the very least, initially do the disparity study. The other suggestion that I had, and I was going to ask Ms. Jackson Thomas to explain a little bit about this situation nationally, but there is a national organization of Black women elected legislators and it's called Noble. And so if there are women, Black legislators in every state, this is something that could be a national trend to begin to address that same discrimination. So if Ms. Jackson Thomas, if you would talk about nationally some of your colleagues and what you have heard around the country is going on, because I would find that very interesting as I take this story back to the Black Caucus.
Well, I am a member of the Black-owned Beauty Supply Association. And those groups, they are on Facebook, and I'm in the Black Beauty Supply International group also. And when you go into these groups, it's so many of us who have stores all across the country that are running into the same problem. You know, it's not just me here in Illinois. They're all over the place. You know, it's only so much that they can get unless, you know, you have to be really diligent in your research and finding other ways to get what you want. And there are ways to get what you want. But the thing is that we shouldn't have to do cartwheels and jump around and run around in circles to get products that us Black women buy anyway. You know, we won't sell it to you, but we'll give it to them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, in these groups, there are people all over this country that have the same struggles that I have.
Okay.
I have a question. My name is Jamie Clay, and I was invited by my cousin Jennifer. And the reason how do we move to the next level, right? Because personally, I mean, I think it's difficult to have laws that impact it, right? The study on discrimination and systemic racism is real, but that takes time. You know, you mentioned earlier in regards to developing a company that distribute hair products. I mean, isn't that literally the next step? And if it is, how do we get there, and what's stopping us from getting there?
Well, I think at this point, we have to take the beauty supply industry by force. And what I mean is, if enough of us show up with Black-owned beauty supply stores, that wakes people up. Because if more Black beauty supply stores show up, more Black people are going to support. And the more Black people support Black beauty supply stores, the less that the Koreans and the Korean stores and the Arabic stores will make, to where the distributors have no choice but to sell to us. So if it's just one person sitting in the wings, or it's just 8 stores in the whole state of Illinois versus 2,500 stores owned by other nationalities, if we show up and we have stores everywhere, that's the only way that we knock down the doors to get what we need. And that's just the bottom line.
And I'm thinking the organizations that you mentioned, whether it's national or worldwide, international, even taking those powers and bringing it together, right? Because that is what divides us, is that we're divided.
That's correct.
Power comes with numbers. So how do we organize that to create a company, to become a distributor that distributes our stores? So following the same model that they're doing.
Well, the same model is, Jamie, is that they're everywhere. We're not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If every way you move, you see these stores, you know, we're going to stop over here, we're going to stop over there, but they're none of us, right? So if we're everywhere, just like they're everywhere, that shuts them down. Like that slows it down for them and make it great for us, to where distributors have no choice but to sell to us. Because if it's only 8 of us and 3,000 of them, they don't care about the 8 naturally, right? So if it's just as many of us as it is of them, somebody got to go.
Right.
And
But
they definitely will sell.
Yeah, I think, but for us to get there, we have to have that buying power, like you said, because there's lower prices for volume, and we all know that. So creating that buying.
Well, you know, in that group, you know, it's been conversations of, well, what if we just put together a mass order? But see, again, what you said was true and correct. We are divided. And it's just a trust thing. Like, I believe for some reason with our own people, we're just not trained to trust. You know what I mean? If I would have loved to have been able to get all 8 Black-owned beauty supply stores and we just produce a mass order, we shouldn't be limited to just have to shop in the warehouses. You understand what I'm saying? We should be able to get any and everything that we want. But unfortunately, it's not like that yet, unless, again, like I really was diligent in my research to find everything that I needed. And so I'm at the point now where I don't have to really go through the distributors. I would like to, but as long as I can get what I need and things that the public wants, that's what's important to me at this point.
Okay.
This is Cornell. I'd like to add that from my experience, discrimination has weighed on our capitalist system in so many ways that's not really noticeable to the average person. And that's why I'm so thankful for the Illinois Black Caucus and their ability to use legislation to solve a lot of our issues. We're dealing with contracting and, say, construction, or dealing with a lot of different vending opportunities. We've been able to get legislation passed to help mitigate a lot of those situations. There is a old saying in the construction industry that when there aren't any goals on a project, then Black people don't participate. And that's what we mean by minority participation. So legislation, I think, is a first step. And we can also do a number of things as we wait on good legislation to come down. But a disparity study, what it does is it looks at the nature and the breadth of discrimination in any industry, field, or organization. I know Carla Burris from Senator Harris' office is on the line. I don't know if you're familiar with the last piece of legislation, Ms. Carla, that Senator Harris actually sponsored. That bill was to enforce goals at every road district, municipality, and county in the state of Illinois who don't have participation goals in place for their vending opportunities. And that's been a huge help to the Southland Black Chamber and a lot of our members in dealing with some of these municipalities who outright lock us out of opportunities that our tax dollars pay for, and that our government provides when it comes to procurement. So when it comes to legislation, I think that's the most powerful tool that we can enact. And Carla, are you able to speak to that at all? Are you there, Ms. Burris?
Well, while we're waiting for her to come back online, I would also like to say that it's important to create the legislation, but there also must be mechanisms for implementation, because you can have bills all day long, but if they're not implemented, then they really do no one any good. So, and that's another effort that we are looking at the Legislative Black Caucus, to make sure that bills are created, but also that there's a mechanism for implementation.
This is Beneva, and I'm going to have to run, but Sharetha, I just wanted to say you're not alone. This is exactly what we've gone through 10, 15 years with the contracting issues, and those roadblocks are put up there no matter what business African Americans are trying to start. They're in our presentation, they're barriers, and they're every business that we go after, the road is filled with barriers, and so that's why, as Cornell was saying, we have trying to enact laws with the disparity study and getting an ordinance to get around. And these fights are long. Another good thing you talked about, Sharetha, is absolutely that our community must come together. 10 or 15 people trying to fight and break through is not going to work. It takes all of us. So I'm just happy about the call. Everybody keep up the good work, and it's been a great call so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Beneva.
Cornell, I just wanted to say something really quick that I shared with you and State Rep Martin. I say, to everybody, let this sink in for a minute. For many years, we've gone to these different beauty supply stores. We put them through college, their children through college, their children's children through college. But your kid can't go to college. But every day that we go in these stores, we're supporting the cause for them of those who never give the Black community anything. I don't see how, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a Black-owned beauty supply store, because I was ignorant to the fact that I did frequent these stores, on a daily basis. But at some point, we have to get smart with our money as far as where we spend, who we choose to spend with. If it's not me, find another Black-owned beauty supply store, because we do need the support. And the thing is, too, is that, hey, look for people to support who's also giving back to the community. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So what you put in, you get out, no deposit, no withdrawal, so to speak. But that's what I wanted to say, because, it's a lot of people having a hard time right now. Their kids can't go to college, even if it wasn't a pandemic. How can we knowingly support these people and supporting their whole livelihood? They're set for life, and we struggling every day. That doesn't sit right with me anyway.
Yes, ma'am, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, Sharetha. Does anyone else on the Zoom call have a question for the state rep or for Sharetha?
I have one more question for State Rep Martin. Do you find that the as far as the study and the different things that the Black Caucus is working on, that you have widespread support in the General Assembly? And if not, what can we do to push some of the other representatives to support some of the things that you all are doing in relation to this issue?
Okay, well, thank you. I think previously there probably was pushback on certain types of legislation that dealt with or addressed discrimination. I do remember there was a piece of legislation proposed in the chamber that would have mandated that every corporation doing business in the state of Illinois had to have at least one woman and one African American on their corporate board. And that raised all kinds of controversy. For hours, there was a debate. At the end of the day, it finally did pass, but it was a lot of pushback. But I think that because of the recent protests that have taken place, the more attention to Black Lives Matter, and a seemingly change in the attitude of our elected officials and as well as residents, that maybe that's changing, so that there will be more enthusiasm and receptiveness to legislation that addresses discrimination, especially in the African American community. We've found it, with COVID-19 in the healthcare arena. We found it in the education arena. We found it in the small business arena. And those are things that we have always known. But now there is a movement and there's a trend that nationally others are beginning to see the reality of that injustice and that discrimination. To your question, I believe that come veto session in November and beyond into 2021, there will be more enthusiasm and more receptiveness to the types of legislation that can begin to address the types of discrimination that we're talking about today. But that's why it's important to have the conversation so that we actually know, not assume, but we have documentation that those things do exist.
We are approaching on the 1 o'clock hour. Does anyone else have a question for Sharetha or for State Rep Meyers-Martin?
I just want to say, guys, I gotta hop off because I gotta walk into another meeting. But I just want to say, it was a pleasure to be on this call. I'm so happy that some movement. It looks like some movement and some dialogue is gonna start happening for people as a whole. And I really, really, really look forward to just being involved on the next steps. Hopefully, we can put a plan together and then put that plan to action and kind of just take back what we all agree is rightfully ours. So everybody have a good day. Sharetha, I'll see you probably today. I need some supplies.
Okay.
Have a great day. Does anyone else have a question?
I do. I have a quick question. In your research, Sharetha, have you come across anything that kind of explains the wholesale process and how someone would be able to become licensed as a wholesaler, so we can deal directly with the companies like L'Oreal and Mayel and everything like that?
Wait a minute, repeat that question again. I'm sorry.
What process would somebody have to go to become a wholesaler?
Oh, well, it's too much to explain, but you can always call me and I can give you that information. We'll be here all day if I told you. So anybody who has questions or need answers, they can call me directly. My number is listed. It goes straight to my cell phone. So I will be glad to give you all of that information. But the thing is with manufacturers themselves and trying to become a wholesaler, you have to buy in large volume.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate all you guys for joining the call. It is 1 o'clock now, so we will do our outroductions. If you are curious, I did create that term. It'll be in a dictionary sometime this decade. But to start with our outroductions, I am Cornell Darden Jr., President and CEO of the Southland Black Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I'm grateful for State Representative Debbie Meyers-Martin and Sharetha Jackson-Thomas for facilitating this call. Next, for outroductions, we have Erica.
Thank you so much, both of you, both Debbie and Sharetha. There was a wealth of information shared today, and this is something that we have spoken about as a chamber at length in the past, and it has been a concern of ours for a long time. And I'm glad that you were able to share your story, Sharetha, and bring a little bit more awareness to the situation. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Erica. Next, we have Nicole.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicole Lawson-Travis. I am a vendor of Body and Soul Naturally, and it's been a blessing to partner with Sharetha. Truly been a blessing for my business, as well as offering these products in her stores. So it's great that we're doing this to support the Black community and support Black beauty supplies. So Sharetha, way to go. Great to meet you, and looking forward to the many years of partnership.
Thanks, Nicole.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Next, we have LaShawn James.
Thank you, Cornell, and thank you, Erica, and the Southland Chamber of Commerce. This has been just a wealth of information, and thank you, Sharetha, for sharing your story and your experience. I put in the chat room that I had experienced the same thing in terms of feeling uncomfortable and someone following me, and I pick up, all of that, and I don't think we need to go through that. And so I say, let's make some noise. And you say, what do we need to do? Stop purchasing things at these stores, but we have to do more to let folks know that we're not playing and that we're serious. So whatever that looks like, count me in. I just thank you. And again, in the chat room, I mentioned how I was at a nail shop, and I can tell you my story. Literally, I'm on my way out of town trying to get my nails done. And the experience that I experienced was horrific, and I had to call the police. But anyway, thank you so much. And I'm here. I'm in Matteson, and I think I'm going to stop by your store. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, LaShawn. Next, we have Jamie Clay.
First of all, I'd like to thank all you guys for the invite. I came on this call because this is a subject that we're looking at. We're looking to impact our community and rebuild and retake our community. So, and I know that we'll be having conversations in the future in regards to this, but our team is a team of action, and we're looking for the next move.
Thank you for calling.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. Next, we have Devin Jones.
Thank you, Cornell. Thank you to the Southland Black Chamber of Commerce. Definitely thank you to Sharetha and Representative Martin for, it was just a wealth of information. And so we hear these stories and different things like that, and we don't have answers or solutions if we don't know someone who's actually going through it. And so I really appreciate the education that the two of you all have given me to be better able to articulate that and to kind of activate at least my small community to help the two of you do what you need to do. So, and I definitely will be sending people. I'm on the southwest side of Chicago, but my grandmother has been a beautician for about 50 years. I don't think she's ever purchased from a Black-owned beauty shop, but if I have to drive out there to you to pick up stuff for her, I definitely will do that. So I really appreciate this. It's just I'm impressed with the information, and really kind of shocked and appalled at what's going on. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Next, we have Carla Burris.
Hi, I'm Carla Burris with Senator Harris's district office. Once again, I want to thank you for the information. It's amazing what we're still going through, but I will definitely make sure that Senator Harris is aware of this conversation and see what he can do to help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burris. Next, we have Rochelle Haney.
Hello, thanks again, Sharetha, for the information. I'm here representing CF Legacy. I thank you for the invite. Definitely looking forward to working with you in the partnership and moving forward and breaking the bridges that is created for us to make this movement in this time as this. But thank you again for the information.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Thanks for joining us. Next, we have iPhone.
Hi, sorry about that. Hi, this is Valerie Clay. Information is key, and I appreciate this call today. And as we have been down this road, most of us, every day of our life for how long ago, what I'm encouraged about is the actions that we are now going to take with this information so that we can move forward in a positive way to promote and enhance us. So I look forward to working with you, and yeah, I look forward to working with you. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much,
calling.
Valerie. Next, we have Jennifer Wilson.
Hi, thank you so much, Sharetha, and thank you so much, State Rep Ms. Martin. We do appreciate you all, and this I would consider as a town hall for us. Black folk, we have the power. It's just a matter of us unifying and actually, walking in the way that we need to for action sake. There is now I can't say verbatim, but I heard Tyler Perry say, why are we always fighting for a seat at someone else's table? It's time for us to start creating our own. And so I, along with our team, CF Legacy, our family had come together a few months ago, and we said, you know what, it's time for us to take back our neighborhoods. It's time for us to take back what belongs to us. And so we thank you so much for sharing your experience, and we truly look forward to working with you, because this is something that we truly would love to see come to fruition for the Black community as a whole. And I can see us unifying. I am going to say right now on this call, we're going to call those things that be not as though they were, so that we can all move and become the powerhouses that we deserve to be. So again, thank you, State Rep Martin and Sharetha. And I'm looking forward to us building our table.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. If you can you guys please leave your contact info in the chat box?
Sure.
Sure.
Awesome. Next, we have Kiara Jones. Are you there,
Sorry, I was
Kiara?
on mute. Sorry. Today's discussion was very informational. We got a ton of information, and I look forward to working with the chamber to see what we can do to help with the beauty supply business, Black beauty supply business. And also as a customer, I look forward to seeing what I can do as a customer and just shopping more with Black beauty supplies in general. Thank you again, Sharetha and Debbie.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Kiara. And next we have Erica Clay.
Hello, my name is Erica Clay. I am a member of the CF Legacy group as well. And I just want to thank you all for, for providing the information and all the information that you provided to us. Being on the phone, I knew things like this was happening, but I just didn't know exactly where it was happening. So when I heard the story, I'm like, wow, it really is going on. And us as Black people, we really need to sometimes go out of our way to support one another. So I do look forward to supporting you all. Again, I'll share my information. My sister also has a Black-owned nail shop that she started like maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. And again, that's another industry that's really hard to, break into and get that support that we need. Thank you all.
Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you for joining. I think that's all for introduction. So we will give Sharetha the floor next.
Okay, so I just want to encourage everybody to tell everybody that Black Kids Beauty Supply does exist. We are in the heart and soul of Matteson, Illinois, 4451 211th Street. And also, I just want to encourage anybody that really want to know how they can break through and get some of these dollars back, generating in our own circles. I encourage everybody. I didn't know a thing about opening a beauty supply store. I did hair. That's just what I did. But I encourage any and everybody that can, go get a beauty supply store that's high in demand. Hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I did it with nothing. So I just want to put that out there. Everybody go get one, because that's the only noise we're going to make. Yeah, we need the customer base, but we need the stores to support the customer base. So if you can do it, do it.
Awesome. And Sharetha has been phenomenal at encouraging other Black entrepreneurs to start. She just recently had a class in which she apprised 2 young Black women on how to start a store. I believe one of those stores will be in Sterling, Sharetha, and the other in somewhere in the south suburbs.
Correct.
Awesome. So anyone on the call that knows anyone or interested themselves.
And this is not a competition between Black people. If we all get stores, we all work together. Where I'm lacking in some resources, the other stores may have. Where they're lacking, I have it. You know what I mean? We're not in competition with each other. It's enough, more than enough, for everybody to eat.
Amen.
Can I just say one last thing before I jump off the call? I just want to give a true kudos to Sharetha for even inspiring having Black vendors in her store. I mean, she was so welcoming to allow me to come in at Body and Soul Naturally. And we had our products in an Asian store and they weren't performing well. And 1 month in, I'm just amazed at what we've done. So I just appreciate you and thank you for welcoming us and having our business in your store. So that's one business supporting another business. That's just powerful if you think about that.
Yep, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you,
You know,
Nicole.
I'm too hard on myself. I'm so hard on myself. I'm like, it's never enough. You know what I mean? Like,
we all are hard on ourselves.
The vision was never for me to be the only one winning. You know, I wanted everybody to win, especially us, because us is who makes up all the dollars. So if getting my store filled meant get every vendor in the city of Chicago to put stuff in the store, that's exactly what I was going to do. Because, I mean, it's unheard of. You know, like, they just don't do that for us. Or they'll sit our stuff on the shelves and just let it marinate. No, when you come into my store and it's vendors that's located in my stores, we hustle for the vendors more so than I hustle for my own products. Because, you know, everybody deserves a piece of the pie. And that's just the bottom line.
Yes, ma'am. And last but not least, the Honorable State Representative Debbie Meyers-Martin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Darden and the South Suburban Black Chamber of Commerce. I want to agree with one of the earlier speakers during the outroductions. I love that word. We do have the power. Sometimes we don't recognize that, we don't acknowledge that, but we do have the power. We have the power when we vote. We have the power when we spend our money. There is so much discretionary dollars in the African-American community that businesses recognize that we have the spending dollars. So we have the power. So I just want to allude to an old saying about a journey of 1,000 steps begin with a single step. And that is what this is all about. That's why we have this conversation, because you have to begin somewhere, and having the conversation and recognizing what the challenges are and recognizing what the situation is helps us to move forward. So I look forward to continuing working with the Chamber and Miss Sharetha Jackson Thomas and any of the other vendors, any of the other small business owners, because this is so important that we work together. We've said that over and over again, but now it's time to really do it. It's really time for us to make the move by working together. So thank you again for allowing me on the call. And I look forward to hearing from people. My district office is in Matteson over by the library. And I welcome people reaching out to me and letting me know what's going on, what their concerns are, what their questions are, because that's how we make a difference. So thank you.
Thank you so much, State Rep. I do want to reiterate, I know I heard someone mention action plan earlier. So what we are going to do, we will be collaborating with State Rep Meyers-Martin to discuss a disparity study. And we will also be collaborating with Sharetha Jackson-Thomas to reach out to some of these large corporations to see what we can do to create a Black wholesale warehouse. Without further ado, I'll bid you all farewell and join us next Friday at noon for another awesome Zoom call.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Peace and
Bye-bye.
blessings, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.